Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to be talking specifically about seasonality. And so, this is a good running three STRs. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to be talking about seasonality and how to optimize revenue year round because as it kind of looks like we have a little bit of a mix of those that are looking and those that are already in the game, been in it for several years, you know that revenue is the most important thing in this business. You've got to be able to look, I think, at least weekly at what you're doing and kind of your projections, your bookings, how things are going. This is going to be a business where you're very involved. And in order for it to be successful, you've got to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And so, one of the best ways to do that is to really understand seasonality, understand that that is the lifeblood of your short term rental is having a very clear understanding of what seasonality looks like in your market and how you can best optimize and how you can best succeed in the short-term rental market. So let me hop over to my presentation. Okay, first off, let me tell you who I am. My name is Eric Edwards. I am a part of the Savvy STR agents. I'm also an investor. Started investing back in 2015. My wife and I, we were buying foreclosures at that time, and we did a couple flips and did some live-in flips and sold those. Got my real estate license in 2018. Before that, my wife and I did some management of some cabins of a local cabin company. We helped with the cleaning, the turnovers, all of that kind of stuff. And that's what really exposed us to the short term rental market. And from there on, in 2019, we bought our first short term rental. And then we bought our second one in 2021. And those are both in the Hocking Hills. And I've worked primarily with just investors in the Hocking Hills in Southeast Ohio, the heartland, I believe, of Ohio. And it's a beautiful place. If you've not been, you need to come visit, come check us out. But that's a little bit about me. And so I am here today to represent the team of Savvy STR agents. And look at this. We are the fastest growing short-term rental experts as a team across the country in the top vacation markets. And so take a look at our team. We are growing by leaps and bounds. And here's the point that I want to make. This is a little bit of a hot take. Not all real estate agents are created equal. When you are seeing people on this screen right here, you are looking at short-term rental specific agents that are specialized, that are experienced in short-term rentals. I have been on the other side of transactions, working with agents representing either a seller or a buyer who do not know what they're doing when it comes to short-term rentals. This is not just a real estate transaction. This is a business. And this is something that you really have to understand the numbers on. So don't just call, your uncle's brothers who has a license and sells one house a year. Don't call that guy. If you're looking to get into the short-term rental market, reach out and talk to a short-term rental expert. And the best place to start is Savvy. We've got you pretty much covered across the country. And we have different agents in all of these different markets. And we are here to help you succeed in your short-term rental venture. Okay, so like I said, I'm a part of the Hocking Hills, or I'm in the Hocking Hills short-term rental market. And so just a little bit of background about my market. When people say Hocking Hills actually isn't a place, it's a region. And so it consists of these 6 submarkets. So Logan is the primary city, then Rockbridge, New Plymouth, MacArthur, Nelsonville, New Statesville. These are all little towns that make up the Hocking Hills. So fun fact, most of these are small mining towns. These towns developed because of coal mines that were found in Southeast Ohio. And there was rail put in to be able to take coal to Columbus. And so that's how a lot of these little towns got started. The most visited park in Ohio is the Hocking Hill State Park. So there's an estimated 5 million plus visitors that come yearly to that. And so that is the main draw. And it consists of three main attractions: Old Man's Cave, Cedar Falls, and Ash Cave. And so here's the main overview. This is why people call me, because consistently the Hocking Hills has ranked on this top page for the past several years on AirDNA. And so you can see right now we bumped down a little bit. We were 3 for a while. Now we're down to still in the top 5. But Logan, you'll see there, is still one of the top investable markets based upon the data and all of AirDNA. And so if you're interested in making a solid investment in an amazing location around great people in a great part in the amazing Ohio district, give me a call. I'll be happy to help you find what you're looking for. Okay, so why seasonality matters. Seasonality, understanding it, is literally the most important part of this business, because I'm here to tell you that every market has seasonality at some level. There is a peak, there is a low or like a sub shoulder season, and then there's the off season. So every market is going to have some level of this. But what you have to be able to understand is that you have to be able to capitalize on the seasonalities. So every season has its benefits and every season has its drawbacks. And so what you have to realize is that there are certain times where you have got to really be maximizing on whatever that season is presenting itself for you. So there's opportunity in each of them for different things. But what you have to make sure is that you are getting the full maximum value of each season at the time that you get it, because not every season throughout the year presents the same opportunities for you. And so you are now in the seasonality business. When you are looking to either buy a short term or you're already an established one, you have to be able to realize that you have to be able to capitalize on whatever it is. You are now in the revenue generation business. If you buy a short term rental, you are now looking at data. You are now keeping track of trends. You are now looking at the comps of what is presenting itself to you so that you are going to be able to succeed with what your business. It's imperative that you understand the seasonality of your market and what it is presenting to you at the time. So revenue drops during off-season months, and that will definitely eat into your profits. You have to understand the trends that your market is giving you, because each market is giving you specific opportunities, but you have to be able to maximize on it. And if you plan ahead, it'll help you to stay booked when others are not. Because if you're not booked, you're not making money. And so you have to know this, because you are not in a, this is not like a charity. I'm suspecting that most of you are buying these as investments. You want a return and you want a good return. And so that's going to come down on you as the owner, operator, manager. You've got to be involved in what these are. So you have to know your season. So every market can kind of be classified into 3 different areas here. You have a peak season, a shoulder season, and an off season. This peak season, listen to me. If you don't catch anything else, catch this. You have got to get your peak season right. The majority of your yearly revenue will be made during your peak season. And so if it doesn't matter how well you do, it doesn't matter how many other tricks that we try to implement after we're already rolling here. If I miss the peak season earnings, you'll never recover for the rest of the year. And so if I miss what that peak season is giving me in terms of occupancy, in terms of my nightly rate, then I am going to completely mess up the revenue for that whole year. The biggest mistake, here's my hot take. The biggest mistake that I see investors make are people underprice their peak season and they overprice their off season. The same property that you may be able to rent for $400 or $500 a night during your peak season, it's really hard to negotiate that down in your mind, down to $100 or $150 a night in your off season, and you still won't book it. So it's really imperative, in order for you to have a successful year, you have to have a successful peak season, because that is going to be the primary place where you make the majority of your revenue for that entire year. And if you miss pricing it, you'll miss the whole season. So next, that you have to price correctly is this shoulder season. So this is where I feel that you can get the most creative of trying to stand out in order to try to keep up your occupancy. So we are looking for bookings, right? That is the goal. If we are not booking, we're not making money. If we are not booking, there's no revenue coming in. If we're not booking, it's affecting everything. It's even affecting the algorithm of whatever our booking platform is on. We want to be booking, because then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll continue to book more because the algorithm will pull that as it being a good product that people are looking to buy. So this shoulder season provides a really great opportunity for us to stand out. And so we can really have this as an opportunity by standing out with what people are looking for. So if there are amenities that are tailored specifically or only found in that specific season, that's a great time to push that. So for instance, like for us, kind of in the fall, it's still a very strong season for us, but it does come down from the peak. Our peak is July, and so it kind of is the dovetail a little bit off of that. But there's a lot of great festivals, there's a lot of great events that are taking place that people are still coming for. And so I want to be able to use those opportunities to push that in order to create the desire for people to still want to come. So I'm going to use what the season gives me. Peak season, people are coming. What I need to do is make sure that I am priced correctly so that I'm maximizing on that. The shoulder season, I need to get a little more creative, and I need to probably have some pricing strategy, but I also need to utilize what that season is offering to be able to push that for people to be able to come. Be careful not to overprice your shoulder season, because now people have more options because it's not as high demand, and people are going to pick the better, both options of what the property offers as well as price is going to come into effect. And then you have the off season. So sometimes it feels like during the off season you can't even give these nights away, especially during weekdays. They're just probably going to be dead, whatever it is. And you need to make sure that you are priced accordingly. But this is where you also have to get creative. So, what the off season provides is an opportunity to be able to work on the property. If you have updates that you need to do, this isn't time to do that. You can't do updates during peak season when you have back-to-back turnovers. It's not the time. Not the time to be trying to do touch-up paint or to be improving other things or changing out furniture. You're not going to have time to do that. But the time to do that is during your off season. And we are still going to price competitively. This is where it's tough as a host to price your property at the level that it needs to be at to be attractive in the off season, because when they log in through Airbnb, let's say, they've got plenty of options to choose from, and so plenty of good options. And so one of the things that they're going to be looking at that's going to really play a role is the price in this. And so you have to understand your markets, and you have to understand what's presented itself for you. How do you do that? You're going to use data. This is how you are going to keep yourselves separate from those who don't. Data is your friend. It is not your enemy. It is your best friend whenever you are looking to try to keep your place at maximum revenue potential. You want it to be making money. That's the whole reason that we got into this. And data is changing all the time. That's why you have to keep your finger on the pulse of it. You've got to be involved in this. If you want to be successful, you've got to be involved in this. Short-term rental is not a set it and forget it. You've got to be actively engaged in what is happening in your market with your other properties that you're competing against. And so the best way to do that is to use data. What worked for you last year may not work for you this year. what was effective last year in terms of your pricing strategy, that may not be where the market is at today. The toughest thing for you to grapple or to wrap your mind around is that the property, the average daily rate, it may not be worth what you think it is. It is worth only what the market will allow it to be. And so if you're way overpriced, where you're not even competitive, it doesn't matter how amazing your place is. It doesn't matter how luxury your finishes are. I would say it doesn't even really matter how, amazing that you've done things. If you're dramatically overpriced than your competitors, there's a good chance you're probably not booking, because you have got to stay on the pulse of what the market is for your place. And it changes dramatically, and it changes often. And so use sites like AirDNA, Rabu, B&B Calculator, STR Insights. These are some great resources that you can go on, and most of them have a free option or a free section where you can get some clear-cut data to help you understand what your market is offering and what it's providing for you at that time. So here's some 4 practical steps for you to be able to optimize your revenue. Okay. Number 1 is dynamic pricing. If you are not using dynamic pricing, I am just telling you that you are leaving money on the table. I was late to the dynamic pricing game. I was one of those people that thought that I knew my market best. I could get in there and I could keep up with my calendar on what I thought it was priced at and what it should be at. And no one was going to tell me what my market was, because I was a local and I knew what was going on. And I was late to this game. And so during the real, influx during 2020, 2021, I shudder to think of how much money I left on the table because I was not using dynamic pricing software to adjust. I mean, I still at times think of how much money I lost during those couple years of peak. Those were some of my better years, even in terms of occupancy. I mean, we crushed it, but I could have done so much better because that was a whole peak season that I missed because I was not using dynamic pricing to go in there and really show me the demand compared to other properties that were like mine, similar. So dynamic pricing, I use Price Labs. There's several others. You can use what you want. They all kind of have the same benefits. Some are different. Some people use revenue managers to kind of do their stuff. But regardless, just setting a weekend price and a weekday price for the whole year, you are missing really important optimization to get that peak revenue during that peak season. Number 2, flexible minimum nights. I know you do not want to allow one night bookings. I know it. I know it. I feel you. I understand what you're saying, but I am telling you that during your shoulder seasons, and especially during that slow season, allowing minimum nights, a one night booking. I have mine set up where I don't do it on the weekends, but a Monday through a Thursday during my slow times, I'll allow one night bookings for that. Why? Because there's like nothing booking. And so if I can catch somebody coming through my place and they want to stay one night, I'm going to take that booking because I'm all about the revenue game. And I'm all about getting bookings because bookings mean revenue. And if I'm not booking, I'm not making money. Number 3, off-season discounts and promos. I do this often during my real off-season slow times. I'm in there quite frequently, even doing additional discounts. So if I get a week or 2 out, Price Labs will do this automatically. They start to discount if it's showing low demand and we're getting within a certain time period. These are all settings you can change, but I have it to automatically start to discount. I'll go in there and I'll bump up the discount just to try to get it booked because, like I said, if I'm not booking, I'm not making money. And so then number 4 here is adjust amenities based on your season. So depending on your market, this is going to look different for you, but I'm going to add other amenities based upon the season to help promote people to book my place. And so whatever that looks for in your area, anything to help you set apart from others is what you're going to want to look for. So get creative. The off season is the time for you to get creative. It's not only about lowering your price, although I do believe that that's a part of it, but it's not only about that. Sidebar: this property right here that you're seeing, that's actually in the Hocking Hills. There's a builder building 4 of those. 2 of them are in contract. 2 more are available. If you want to take a look at those, hit your boy up. I'll be happy to get you information on those. Those are an amazing location right across from Old Man's Cave. Okay, here's what you can do: partner with local business, partner with an event, partner with local lodging companies. This is something that I've just done recently. I've just joined a board to help be a part of the board that promotes tourism. So I'm getting involved in the elements of trying to create events for tourism and what it's going to do. I'm excited to be a part of that. Look at anything that you can do to help set yourself apart. Romantic getaways, a workcation, wellness retreat. Lots of people are still traveling and working from home or remote. So there's lots of great opportunity to really cater to that during your off season. So I will even do additional discounts for longer stays. So if someone wants to book a week or 2 weeks, I have set up where that's an additional discount because that is my slow season. If I can book a 2 week stay, all day long, I'm going to do that, even if it's more discounted than usual. Use email and social media campaigns to help drive direct bookings. There's lots of great options that you can do for this, lots of good things that are going to provide you the opportunities to be able to really campaign for your area during a slow season. This is not the set it and forget it. This is where you have to get creative, is in your off season, be involved in your dynamic pricing software, promote experiences, create partnerships, do everything that you can to really try to help drive people towards you, because I know it's going to be lower per night than probably what you want to book, but you want to book. If you're not booking, you're not banking. And so you need to get bookings on the shelf. Okay, this is a case study. This is a real life example of one of my properties. And like I said, I told you I was late to the dynamic pricing game. All right. These are real numbers from one of my places. So you can see here of November, before dynamic pricing software, November is a slow month, typically slower. It's one of the shoulder seasons in the Hocking Hills. You can see my revenue booking right here, $2,846. That was before. Now, if you jump to the next year, the November of the next year, you can see the difference, $3,319. This was a property that I made 0 changes to. I didn't increase amenities. I didn't put a mural wall in, even though I want to. I didn't do any kind of updates. This was the same property, the same pictures, everything. The only thing that I did different was I implemented using dynamic pricing. And you can see the changes. And this other here, that's a hockinghills.com booking platform. It was on that for the previous November as well, but just didn't get any bookings for whatever reason. It hit the sweet spot on this one, but it was really capitalizing on that dynamic pricing. I would have never known. There's almost a 16 or almost a 17% increase between not using dynamic pricing and using dynamic pricing. So one of the best things that you can do, if you're like, Eric, I hear what you're saying, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy to go in and try to redo all of these things or to add these tricked out places. I hear you, I get it. One of the easiest things that you can do is to implement dynamic pricing. This is the first step. If you're not doing this, implement dynamic pricing and just watch what happens. Okay, quick ways you can win and implement today. So these are your action items. Identify your seasonality zones. Like we said, how are we going to do that? We're going to use data. We're going to look. We're going to see the occupancy. We're going to see how much is happening. We're going to look at that and we're going to make our decisions based upon that. Adjust your pricing for the upcoming shoulder and off seasons. You should already be in this. So whatever your seasons are, you should be looking months out and be looking at what is kind of the demand. Where are others priced at? How are they booking compared to what I'm booking? What's my booking this year look like compared to that same time last year? So be in these numbers, look at this and understand what it's doing. Launch a seasonal promotional. This is a great way. Take a week, mark it down, get it booked. Let the algorithms start to see that you're getting action, that you're getting bookings. The algorithms are really looking for that conversion. And so look at what you are booking for and then look at that conversion rate, because that's what's going to really be that sweet sauce that the algorithm is looking for. Create content around off-season benefits. So this is where you're going to look at what's specific to your market and what's little hidden gems that maybe other people don't know. And so use different outreach methods, different marketing campaigns, create that content around why you should come here during off season. One of the reasons to come to the Hocking Hills during off season is because you can go and have almost the entire Hocking Hills State Park to yourself. If you go during an off season, you can literally almost feel like it's your park because that's how much the demand drops down. Go during the summer and it's like being herded through there because there's so many people. And then partner with a local business. Do whatever you can to try to align interests with others that are in the same market that you have, and allow that to be a benefit for you both. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you got some key takeaway here, some actionable items, and would just love. I'm gonna hop over here into the chats and see if I can answer a few of these questions. Okay, so I got a question here from looks like Steve said, my properties are in a strictly vacation area where everything basically shuts down in January through February. Same, that's me. Do you have any ideas for filling my properties during this time so my overall revenue isn't killed for the year? I've thought about seeing if I could get some midterm insurance stays during January or something like that. People do that. I've never been into the trying to place with midterms. What I have found, because I'm in a strictly vacation market, is that that's not really the demographic that we draw for or have a need for. But what I use, because I'm in the same deal. January and February for us are like dead. And so we really use that time to really try to get ready for our peak season that's coming. And like I said, and here's the point that I want to make, is that there's slow seasons for everybody. But what you really need to be able to grasp is maximizing those peak and shoulder seasons. Your slow season, get creative, try to bring in other elements that can help boost occupancy, but it's going to be slow. And pricing is a big one. Try to cater for longer stays. Airbnb will give you options where you can have discounts for longer markets or for longer stays. Maybe try that option, but it's going to be slow. But the revenue for your year, like I said, during that peak season and shoulder season, that's where you're going to make the majority of your revenue. And so what you want to make sure is that you are maximizing to the hilt on those months. That is going to be the best thing for you. Sorry, what market are you in? Bro, I'm in the Hocking Hills, Kenny. Come on, man. The heartland of Ohio. Come see us. Where do you get all this data? Okay, yeah. So like we said, AirDNA, Rabu, um, I'm forgetting a couple of others. STR Insights. There's several places that you can get in there, and that you can really get a lot of good data. Price Labs also, if you connect it with your Airbnb or VRBO accounts, it will pull a lot of other comps. That's how it kind of uses this dynamic pricing, and so it's a great way to be able to use. Do you buffer the off season before accepting one night stay, or is it the moment? Or is it the moment it's off season you start accepting? So I think if I understand this question right, I mean, I wait until it's actually off season. So the one night minimums, I try to push that off as long as I can, just because I don't want it to mess up a longer stay, which is the fear of taking these one night stays. But, I will wait until we are actually at the place of off season, and that's when I'll open it up for one night stays. And so, I don't, yeah. If that answers the question, I wait until I'm actually in the slow season, and then that's when I start allowing one night stays, and those don't come often. at least in my market. Most people that are coming, they're all at least staying 2 nights, but every now and then we do get some. And like I said, during that scavenger season, you're just trying to find anybody that's going to come book your place, and make that deposit. So we are always looking for that. What program do you use? If you're talking about the dynamic pricing software, I use Price Labs personally. Not a sponsor, but they're great. I know that there's several others. I'm sure you can find a lot of research comparing them, but I use Price Labs, and it's been terrific. Let me hop over here, see if we got any other questions before we log off. Was this helpful? Yes, no? Did you get some tips or tricks? Was it worth it? Is anybody still there? Okay. We do got some people saying helpful. Okay, I'll take it. Yes, thank you, thank you. Cool. Okay. Well, I'm happy to help. Even yeah, Chris or sorry, Curtis saying Price Labs is awesome. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's terrific. Definitely utilize that. Um, Eric, cool. Yeah, good. I'm glad that this was helpful. Leanne, glad you liked it. Kenny, glad this helped you. Great. Well, I'm glad that this helped. Alana, thank you. You're welcome so much. If you have any other questions, here's my contact. Even if you're not in my market, I'm here to help. So if you have a question or something, Steve, you're welcome. You guys are all welcome. If you are still having follow-up questions after anything that I've talked about, feel free, reach out to me, book a call, send me an email. I'm happy to help any way that I can, or to clear up anything that I said today. Would be happy to help you guys on your journey, because this is all about success. And here at Savvy, that is what we are here to do. Is we are here to not only help you survive during your short-term rental experience, we want you to thrive. And we believe that this is the best investment class that you can make. And we are all bought into this. We are all short-term rental owners ourselves. And so we believe in this product. But you have also got to be able to maximize and to be able to operate it efficiently and effectively. And so we're here to help. Watch our Savvy sessions. We do this every week. You can sign up and get a list on it and be invited to those. So keep an eye out. It's a lot of great material, all the great time from real experts that are really in the field, that have their hands on the pulse, and we're here to help. If there's no other questions, I don't think so. Appreciate you all. Here from Ohio. It was good to see everybody. Appreciated the questions and the interactions. Everybody have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.